Hey, how's it going, everybody? Some unfortunate news that ended up getting dropped later yesterday in regards to the Shopify Rebellion roster. They ended up putting out a statement that their kind of young gun stud player, BeastMode, is not only going to be stepping away from the team, but the Rocket League competitive scene as a whole. And we're going to be discussing it in today's video, what it necessarily means for both BeastMode as well as Shopify Rebellion, and try to provide some insight on the situation. What's up, everybody? Lawler here, inside source for all things Rocket League. Going to be tackling the latest news in regards to Shopify Rebellion's team and a couple different perspectives to take on it, and some people that really need a talking to. The way this video is going to play out, we're going to talk about it in three different parts necessarily. We're going to talk about BeastMode's history, how he came into the team, what he's meant for the team. We're going to talk about the situation itself, and then we're going to talk about the other side of things that need to be discussed. So, with that said, let's get into it. First part is going to be BeastMode's history. For those that do not know, BeastMode is a very young, talented player that is now at the ripe age of 16. He came in actually into the scene as a sub, and for those that don't know, he was brought on at 14, and then shortly after being brought on, as soon as he turned 15, they flipped him into a starter, and has been quite successful ever since. There's been a lot of high-profile plays and a lot of things that BeastMode does, but primarily, if you look at his stats, even though I try not to use stats too often as an inclination of how talented the player is, when you're comparing them against every other player, his stats stand out pretty dang well. The Octane.gg website does an overall rating where they take a culmination of all those stats and end up putting out a rating number, and he sits over a 1.0 rating, which is pretty dang good over the course of his entire career, just shy of like 600 matches. Really impressive stuff for RLCS. We then went into the RLCS into the RLCS 21-22 offseason. They played in the We Play Invitational that I was at and being a desk analyst for. And they placed top 2. They ended up going the distance and playing a really exciting series against the inevitable winners in Envy, and took second place overall. And we felt, okay, you've now got a neuroscientist and someone who's helping with your mental stability on the team and helping with consistency. This team was really going to make a wave. And then in an offseason tournament, we didn't see BeastMode playing, and then regionals they did not too hot, having a really off day, and then we now see again them not qualifying for the next main event, and again BeastMode not playing. So that's back-to-back events where BeastMode isn't playing. We've also got some weird scenarios going on, and it's like, okay, we're starting to turn heads. What's going on with BeastMode? Is he not playing? Is he taking some time off? Is school in the way? Like, what's the scenario? And we get in a statement then earlier in the day yesterday at 11:12 a.m. Central on October 25th. It says, a statement regarding BeastMode. We're disappointed to share that as of today, BeastMode will be stepping away from Shopify Rebellion and competitive Rocket League. We wish him the best in whatever he takes on next. We're currently evaluating the replacement options for this split and beyond, and remain wholly committed to Rocket League for the future despite this setback. So comes to news and shock to a lot of people, and again, you can kind of look at the signs of what's been going on with Shopify Rebellion results wise, and BeastMode not playing in kind of tournaments in general, and things have not been going good. So it's like, okay, and we had this kind of conversation. I was lurking in Karma's stream, and we were talking about what's going on with BeastMode, and it seems like a lot of people kind of hinted at it, being like, yo, this might be coming. And of course, the next day it does. This one's pretty unfortunate because obviously he is a big reason for their success, even though it is a team-based game. It is without a doubt that his impact and his talent at the age he is a massive deal. I personally take this on two different sides, both from BeastMode's perspective as well as Shopify Rebellion's. For BeastMode, mental health is number one, making sure you are sound mentally and in health, physical or otherwise, making sure that you are taking care of yourself. I do make the joke a lot that when I was 15, 16, you know, I was making sure I went to soccer practice, did my chores at home so my parents didn't yell at me, and trying to get Becky's number. Shout outs to you, Becky. It never happened. I was a nerd. It didn't go well. Some things never change. But jokes aside, without the societal pressures of being a public figure, competing for hundreds of thousands of dollars in front of tons of fans, and being a public figure, it's a lot to take on as a young kid, and there could be other circumstances as well at hand that are causing this. But ultimately, BeastMode, even though he hasn't said it himself, I did reach out to him directly, and he and I did talk. I don't want to speak on his behalf. He does have intentions to put out details. When that'll be, I do not know, but he does have plans to speak on his behalf about the scenario. So I'm going to let him breathe on that. Eventually, when it does come out, I'll probably inform you guys on YouTube as well. But there is intentions for him to speak on it, what the details are, and what the things that he and I shared. He would like to remain private, so we're going to keep it that way. I have also heard rumors outside of just stuff from talking to BeastMode, but rumors from other sources about the inner dynamics of the team, and things haven't been the most positive. The specifics of what that mean are not going to be shared, but I don't know if those things are going to be made and brought to light by BeastMode himself or otherwise. So for now, I am just kind of sitting on my hands out of respect for the people involved and the sources that are being provided. As for what it means on both ends, BeastMode taking a step away, whether he's going to come back or not, I do think, obviously, like I mentioned, mental health, personal interests, being a kid who possibly wants to get into the social side of things and, spend more time at school or whatever may be. From what I've seen on social medias and otherwise, it seems to be a lot of focus on personal sports. His father, Robert, actually came into my chat today on stream. Says, hey, Landon, aka Beast Mode, want to share some in-depth to the decision to step away and step back. He is unhappy with his current situation. It's been some time coming with this decision. However, it's only a break for now. He will not put a timestamp on a return, but he has plans to return. It's unfortunate to be at this level of competition and be unhappy doing it, but this decision should help him regain focus, and hopefully it opens up a better situation for him in the future. So clearly there is something going on. What the details are specifically are things that I am not going to be sharing unless Beast Mode himself would like to bring them to light, or something about the team would be brought to light. But I'm going to take a step back on that. We did talk a little bit more with Robert, his father, and did say a focus on basketball, if I remember correctly, and some other things like that. So IRL sports is going to be a bit of a focus. Anytime I've interacted with Beast Mode, he's been a fantastic kid. Very, very respectable. Very, very professional, and has a good head on his shoulders. So I wish nothing for the best for Beast Mode. On the other side of things, on the other side of the coin, for Shopify Rebellion, that leaves them without a star player. On the business side of things, they are no longer in the running for the major. They will not make the fall major. It is point-wise impossible. They fell out really, really early in the first regional. The second regional, they don't make the main event. Third regional, I don't care if you win it. Not going to be enough to make top 5. So this regional is a wash. It is going to be spent trying to find a new player. Ways they can do that. They can currently use their sub. Has not gone that well. They're still going to be able to sign up and compete and try out, but they're going to be looking for other players. There's a bunch of other players from some of these bubble teams that have been doing quite well. Maybe one of those teams or one of those players is willing to get picked up and provided a salary. When it comes to the RLCS 21-22 official rules, if you look at rule 3.3.4, roster change period and roster lock deadline, there are certain changes and trade windows or transfer windows that are available. And in the following section 3.3.5, it says, and I quote, roster change means the addition of a new player to an existing roster. Note that a player departing a roster will not be considered a roster change, provided the team maintains a minimum of 3 players. So they need to find a new player before the other player is removed. Therefore, they are not punished for the rule set of forfeiting their points. The transfer window, when they are allowed to make 2 designated transfers total, the first transfer window is December 13th of 2021, and that goes until January 2nd. During each transfer window, teams may only make 1 addition to their roster, not including the manager and coach, provided that the maximum number of players on the team is 4. That includes 3 starters and a sub. Teams are allowed to make 1 addition to their roster per transfer window. So 1 in December to January, another in March to April. And this is done for the entire RLCS season. So 2 max. A little bit different from before when it was the 3/4 rule with the starters and everything else. Just because it didn't really make sense. If I was a team, I brought in a new player. That new player is better. We want to replace another player. Well, we forfeit our points because 2/3 of the team is different now. Big scenario. It also states that teams may also make 1 exempt addition to their rosters. Each as an exempt addition during the entire RLCS season. Exempt additions must be made in one of the 2 transfer windows and must be added to the substitute position. In addition, exempt editions must meet the following criteria. They must have been eligible to compete for the entirety of the split immediately preceding the transfer window, and they cannot have earned any RLCS points during such split. I think this is also part of the classification of bringing in younger players that are 14 and then bringing them on, and that kind of removes the period. You can't bring in a player preemptively with the intention, kind of like how BeastMode was originally brought in. So those are the rules. That is the transfer window at which I think they're going to be able to make a change. As for now, they have to stick with their sub spots becoming more prevalent in case these scenarios do happen. I will say a lot of the comments on Reddit are quite frustrating that they're attacking. I understand it puts Shopify Rebellion in a rough position, but if it is due to the person's mental health and making sure they are taken care of, I don't care how he leaves the old team. You need to make sure that this person, not this professional, not this pro, but this person is okay and in a healthy space. That is the most important. But we have a lot of people saying, well, how dare he do this? He had 3 months in the offseason to do this, blah, blah, blah. Why is he doing it now? I do agree. The situation, for lack of better phrasing, it sucks. It sucks, I'm sure, for BeastMode because I'm sure he wants to compete at a high level. I'm sure it also sucks for Shopify Rebellion because they've basically thrown away a split and there's nothing they can do about it. It sucks for both sides. There's no reason to attack BeastMode for his decision. Simple as that. Just respect the decision, hope he's okay, and move on. Ultimately, Rapid and Memory are going to have to find a new third. In the meantime, it looks like they are using their sub, which has not been going that great. Maybe that will get better as time progresses, but ultimately, right now, Shopify Rebellion is without a starting third. They are looking for other options. And as for BeastMode, according to his father, taking a step back, possibly focusing on basketball, working on mental health stuff, or whatever it may be. But from the sounds of things, was not in a good situation. So removing himself from said situation and will be eventually back, not putting a time frame on it. Don't know exactly when that will be, but according to his father, that is the situation. If you guys enjoyed the content, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.